summer of John Tavares in 2018. He was the coveted free agent out there, and in the end, he decided to go back home to Toronto. And what a year it was in TO, signing the 7-year deal worth $77 million. JVR also signing a 5-year deal to go back to Philly for the second time around. Paul Stastny, Ilya Kovalchuk coming back from the KHL to join the LA Kings, and Tyler Bozak. That worked out pretty well for Bozak, joining the St. Louis Blues, who would eventually go on and win the Stanley Cup. So those were the top free agents in 2018. You look at those names, you look at the prices, and the term that comes along with it. How do you think last year's crop of talent compares to what we have coming up in 2019?
Well, a little bit different, because when you look at a guy like Stastny and Bozak at center ice, you see that they were a little bit more mature, a little bit older in age, and you only saw the term of 3 years. The questions that I have now with some of the free agents that we have, what's going to be the length of the contract? Not exactly the dollar amount, because I think that you have to work the dollar amount as far as what your cap will allow you to do, but the terms is really what's, going to come and get me in this, off season. We've seen it in the past. We just have to look back at 2016 and look at the list of contracts that was signed on July 1st. And some of those contracts, not only the dollar sign was really high, but the term and the length was, the real questions as to why some of those teams, signed those deals. You think about the Lucic deal. You think about the Louis Eriksson deal. You think about the David Backes deal. You think of Andrew Ladd deal. They all. Not that the players are not good. They're all very good players, and they've all earned that right to be in that free agency and earned the right to be in that money. But if the terms, as far as number of years, was to be just a little bit, smaller on those guys, if Eriksson would be at 4, if Backes would have been at 3, if Andrew Ladd would have been just a little shorter, it would have made those deals better. So buyers beware on July 1st. You always have to overspend. You always have to overpay, but because you're going to get yourself in a bidding wars with other team, and sometimes you get that commitment. If that commitment allows you to win the Stanley Cup, to buy out the last 2 or 3 years of certain deals, I'm all for it. But if it's not going to allow you to get your team over the top, then I would recommend that, perhaps you beware a little bit on July 1st.
What's your gut telling you? Do you think that term is going to come down to maybe 5-year averages, or are we going to see a lot of 7-year deals again?
Well, like Elliot has mentioned, he's mentioned about Zuccarello, possibly signing a 5-year deal with, the Minnesota Wild. That, to me, is the term that, most of these teams would like to have, even though that, Zuccarello is going to be 32 entering this season. That gets him to the 36, 37 years old, mark, which, players that are dedicated and work on their craft and stay committed to what they do, that allows them to get to play the length of their contract to a certain level. Once you get past 36, 37 with some of those contracts, that's when I start to be aware of them.